4BC News.
It's 5:30. Good morning. I'm Chloe Fleck. Brisbane star Ali Brickenshaw faces a nervous wait after women's magic round. The Broncos veteran was sin-binned for an ugly dump tackle during their 34-4 win over the Bulldogs and could spend a stint on the sidelines. The Titans also emerging winners in Wagga Wagga, beating the Warriors 18-16. It's 26-6.
Oh dear, someone hasn't heard of Wagga Wagga. Maybe they thought it was racist. Wagga Wagga indeed. More issues at 4BC, although a mispronounced location is the least of their problems. Hello, I'm television and radio producer-presenter Rob McKnight. With over 30 years' experience, this is Media McKnight. Serious allegations are being raised by the production team who worked on the new Netflix reality TV series Wonka's The Golden Ticket, which was shot at Warner Brothers Movie World on the Gold Coast. The show, which is based on the original Willy Wonka movie, looks amazing. In the game, players must navigate a series of Wonka's temptations and challenges, which are designed to push them physically, mentally, and morally. According to the blurb, players will journey through the factory's wondrous and unpredictable landscape while proving they have the instincts, resilience, and character to thrive in chaos. And yes, they might even bump into an Oompa Loompa or two. In the end, only one contestant will earn Wonka's life-changing prize in this high-stakes social experiment inspired by one of the most iconic worlds in cinematic history. Wonka's The Golden Ticket will premiere on September 23, with a two-part finale on September 30. Okay, well and good. But just like the film, apparently things were very different behind the scenes than what we see on the screen. Sources tell me crew were put up in second-rate hotels. Last-minute changes by Netflix executives created chaos as production teams tried to meet their demands. Technical setups, weeks in the planning, had to be redone because of changes made by senior creatives. Workers were hitting their allotted 60-hour weeks by midweek and then told to take time off, only to be called back in at the last minute to arrange new setups. And reputations were left in ruins because of demands that couldn't be met within the allotted time and budget. Basically, it sounds like crew over here were overworked and Netflix executives were changing things at the 11th hour, leading to many workers getting sick and just wanting the damn thing to be over. But you have to wonder whether crews in the US would have been treated in such a way if the show had been shot over there. Workers in Hollywood have strict unions who make sure workers are treated fairly and paid fairly. There's none of that here in Australia. So Netflix gets tax offsets, their American dollar goes further thanks to the exchange rate, and they can treat our workers like crap, it seems. For an American company who brought out around 30 executives to oversee the production, you'd have thought they could plan better and treat workers better. Hopefully they can learn some lessons for next time.
I think the challenge was...
Turn your podcast into a TV show.
Oh, I love this.
For just $80 per hour, you can have your host anywhere in the world.
The mandates are off in America here.
With graphics tailored to your show.
Can I just dispense with all of the emotional kind of foreplay and just jump in? Do you mind?
Video Podcast Services is run by media professionals who know how to make your content stand out from the crowd. Go to videopodcast.online.
Yeah, if you know anyone who wants to start a video podcast or upgrade their current broadcast to look like a TV show, go and get in contact with me at Video Podcaster Online. All right. It looks like this will be the last season of The Voice on Channel 7. Sources tell me the budget for the show is going to be used to fund I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in 2027. This was actually something I predicted recently in the Daily Mail. This is what I said. Reality shows cost around $20 million per season, give or take, and no Australian TV station has a spare $20 million lying around. That means something has to go to make way for the new purchase. Inside Mail has already revealed that My Reno Rules won't be back next year, but that show was fully funded by Adrian Patelli and didn't cost Seven anything. So how will it pay for I'm a Celeb? With two music competition shows on its roster, all eyes have turned to The Voice and Australian Idol. Well, the decision has been made, and it looks like Seven's executive team is not turning its chairs for The Voice. On Friday, Kyle Sandilands announced he would not be returning for the next season of Australian Idol. Now, whether that was his decision or Channel 7's remains a hot topic of gossip within the industry. Now, I have to be honest and declare I thought Idol might be the one to get the chop, so that Seven could avoid a PR nightmare by dropping Kyle. And that's because the Mad Witches were threatening to target Idol because of his involvement, and the revenue losses would not have been sustainable. Idol, though, is doing strong business against the juggernaut that is Married at First Sight. So when choosing between two music shows, it absolutely makes sense for Seven to ditch The Voice. And everything I'm hearing confirms that's what's happened. So it's goodbye to The Voice after this season. And on a programming note, Carl will be joining me on Wednesday's edition of McKnight Tonight for an in-depth interview covering just about everything. I know he's done a lot of interviews, but I reckon we'll make this one different. You can watch the show live at youtube.com/@McKnightTonight at 8 p.m. or catch up anytime on demand. You've heard the old saying, go woke, go broke, especially if you watch Media McKnight. I've said it a few times. Channel 10's The Project learned that lesson when it started skewing so far to the left that viewers deserted the show in droves, leading to its eventual cancellation. Well, now the folks at Today Extra don't seem to have learned that lesson, with presenters David Campbell and Belinda Russell sprouting anti-Pauline Hanson views despite her strong poll numbers. Have a look at what happened during a Hot Topics discussion with Jane Caro and Brendan Jones recently when they were talking about Pauline Hanson and Barnaby Joyce.
I'm feeling that anyone could run this country.
Yeah.
Like, just go, you got Barnaby Joyce, you got Pauline Hanson. Like, why don't
Give us some better options.
Like, honestly.
While it's refreshing to hear some actual opinions during a Hot Topics segment, Russell's dismissive references to One Nation put her at odds with many voters who were seriously looking to the party as an alternative to Labor and the coalition. And this is why casting these segments is extremely important. Everyone on the panel that day is left-leaning. There was no alternative viewpoint. That means there was no one representing the centrist or right-leaning views of the majority of Australians. That's become a concern behind the scenes of the second-placed morning show, with a team of young producers who all hold left-wing views. They all live in inner Sydney. They all skew towards the left. Sources reveal editorial choices mostly reflect a shared viewpoint of those working on the show. It's led to a clear left-wing narrative that doesn't connect with voters and viewers. And that's not to say there isn't room for left-leaning commentary, but this panel was stacked with those voices. There's no doubt the producers on the show are overworked and underpaid, but more thought needs to be given to who is booked during a discussion. It is not the smartest idea to have a panel full of people who share the same political views. Most Aussies are centre-right, so skewing a morning show too far to the left is dangerous. Seven's The Morning Show avoids politics and has found a lot of success by simply being entertaining. And I'm not pitching that, because you can be political. You just need to find the right balance so that all Australians feel as though they are being heard. And Channel 9 got really upset at my reporting when I first mentioned this in the Daily Mail. They said, we don't employ people based on their political views. And of course they don't. But the fact is, when you're employing young people who live in a city, they're more likely to be left-leaning. And that is being reflected in the show. There's no one saying, hang on, we haven't got the mix right. While a show like Today Extra makes good money thanks to those advertorials, they do need to be careful about becoming too woke. Otherwise, they might just go broke. OzTAM released its Streamscape data for the second quarter of 2026 this week. The data claims to provide a comprehensive view of how Australians consume video across broadcast TV, broadcast video on demand, and all other streaming. Now, TV ratings are actually pretty strong at the moment, so don't listen to anyone who says no one watches TV anymore. The biggest problem for TV networks is advertisers' spending doesn't match the share of the pie commercial television has in the marketplace. For whatever reason, buyers are choosing to go with other mediums when spending their advertising dollar. But let's look at the data, noting this report only focuses on viewing through a smart TV, not mobile devices. The chart on the left that I'm showing you shows video viewing on all devices in the home, with TV sets claiming 85.1%, followed by smartphones on 7.4, computers on 4.7, and tablets on 2.8. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, let's look at the disclaimer at the bottom. That figure does not seem to include video viewing through social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. I don't know about you, but a lot of my video experience is through those platforms. So these figures seem to be a bit skewed, because if social media was included, I think it would be a very different result. In fact, smartphones were used by 98% of Australians 14 plus to access the internet in February, so reach is near universal, even if OzTAM's in-home minutes look modest. Having said that, YouTube is included in the figures, with the chart on the right showing it, Netflix and other streaming services accounting for 39.6% of video viewing on a TV set in the home. Broadcast video accounts for 49.7% and BVOD 10.7%. All up, under this metric, traditional TV networks account for a commanding 60.4% of viewing on TV sets. The problem with data like this is consumers watch video in a variety of ways. Yes, I watch some shows with my family, but it's not uncommon for my kids to be watching the streaming services on their laptops while I'm using the TV. And I think that's where this report starts to fall apart. It's old thinking, limiting video watching to a big shared TV, and so much content is now available on social media. While this show is uploaded on YouTube, clips go out on other platforms and the content is consumed in a variety of ways. There are some good stories to tell when it comes to free-to-air TV, but the people behind these reports need to be careful it doesn't all come across as bullshit when you start to drill down beyond the headlines. All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Media McKnight. Episodes go live at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday, but are available to paid members of the channel as soon as they're completed. Just go to youtube.com/@McKnight tonight to subscribe. I'm Rob McKnight. I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.